Have you ever had a brilliant idea, but the thought of actually building a website for it just stops you in your tracks? Well, today we're going to break down a really cool new tool that's designed to turn a simple conversation into a full-blown, ready-to-launch website. It's called the SiteForge Operator.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You get this amazing concept for a business or a portfolio or a new project. But then, boom, reality hits. You realize you have to design it, then you have to code it, then you have to deploy it. And all of a sudden, that amazing idea is just stuck on the ground. The technical hurdles can feel absolutely massive. For the longest time, building for the web has been slow, super complex, and let's be honest, often really expensive. But we're seeing this fundamental shift happening right now. Instead of being this difficult, pricey process, it's becoming, well, conversational. We're literally moving from a world where you had to write thousands of lines of code to one where you just talk about what you want to build. So how do we actually make that leap? Well, you bring in a totally new kind of builder, and you should think of it less like a piece of software and more like your very own on-demand AI architect. And this is it, the SiteForge Operator. It's an AI system that takes a simple text prompt, just your idea written out in plain English, and it generates a complete, totally deployable website. Now, let's be super clear here. This isn't a mock-up. It's not a design file. The operator builds the real, functioning code base completely from scratch. To really get how it thinks, you just have to look at its core instructions. It's basically told to be more than just a code monkey. It's designed to act as a world-class creative director, UX strategist, UI designer, and front-end engineer, all rolled into one. And that means it's thinking about the whole experience, not just hammering out lines of code. Now, with a powerhouse like that ready to go, you might be thinking that telling it what to do would be super complicated. But actually, the whole system is built around one core idea: keeping it simple. All you're doing is crafting a simple blueprint. You don't need to know any HTML, you don't need to know JavaScript. It all kicks off with something called the intake template. It's not code. Think of it more like a conversation starter. You're basically just filling out a creative brief by answering a few really straightforward questions. And when I say a few questions, I really mean it. To get a site off the ground, you only need 3 key things. First, your brand name. Second, the main goal of the site, like are you trying to get leads or sell something? And third, your main call to action link. The main button you want people to click. That's it. That is the absolute bare minimum to get started. But here's the thing. Simple doesn't mean simplistic. Once you've got those basics down, you can start adding more detail for way more control. You can tell it the type of site, you can pick a specific aesthetic, and you can even choose the code engine it's built on. So it's as simple as you want it to be or as deep as you need it to be. Okay, so how does the operator actually make its decisions? Let's pop the hood for a second and take a quick look at how it uses your answers to make really smart choices about the style and the tech. The stylistic range you can get is pretty impressive. You can ask for something like a brutalist vibe, really raw, high contrast, bold. Or maybe you want a modern SaaS look, which is super clean and product focused. Or maybe creator minimal, which is all about white space and beautiful fonts. You're not just picking a template, it's generating a whole aesthetic from the ground up for you. The operator also lets you pick the engine that powers the site. Think of it like choosing the chassis for your car. You can go with vanilla, that's just pure simple code, which is perfect for really fast single landing pages. Or you could choose Next.JS, which is a way more powerful framework that's ideal for complex, multi-page sites, like blogs or platforms that you're going to expand later on. Okay, so you've filled out the prompt, you've picked your style, you've chosen an engine. What happens next? This is where it gets really, really cool. What you actually get back from the operator. So what it spits out isn't just a single HTML file. Not at all. It's an entire professional-grade project repository. We're talking about over 20 individual files, all perfectly structured and organized, just like a senior human developer would do it. What you get is a professional, fully built-out code base. It's got everything. Your page components, your config files, your site data is all neat and tidy in a JSON file, and it even gives you a README that explains how to run it. It's a complete, editable project, just as if a senior engineer handed it off to you. And I have to say this again because it's probably the most important point. The SiteForge operator doesn't make concept art. It generates practical, production-ready code. The final output is a complete website that is ready to be pushed to a service like Vercel and go live on the internet, like right now. When you kind of zoom out, a technology like this represents something way bigger than just another website builder. It really signals a fundamental change in how we create stuff for the internet. And really, here's the ultimate takeaway. The barrier to entry for making a professional website is changing. It's no longer about whether you can code, it's about how clearly you can explain your idea. Creation itself is becoming a dialogue. So this all brings us to a pretty powerful new reality. The barrier between having a great idea and having a live website is no longer about code, it's just a conversation. So I guess the only question left is, what are you going to build first?